Hello, and welcome to today's stream, where today I'm planning on talking about how to help people without enabling them. And no, you've not been clickbaited. It just takes me a second to get started, Zap. You know this. Anyways, I'm talking today about helping people without that kind of turning into enabling people. And this is a topic that has been brought up by Axeman, and it's really good. I've spent some time writing out some bullet points so I can cover it well. And I'll be doing all that while playing on Minecraft and kind of working on a new section to the area where everyone comes in at when they first join the map. So that'll be fun. God knows how much actual progress I'll make, but that's not so much the point as the topic is the point. So, with that said, let's jump right into it. Well, welcome back to thoughtraid, a community about friends, gaming, and better ways of thinking. I'm Brandon, and today we're going to be talking about helping people without it turning into enabling people. This is a very interesting topic that was brought up by Axeman the other week, and I'm very excited to talk about it to the point that I've actually taken some time to write some notes down so I can stay on track of what I want to talk about instead of just kind of buckshotting all over the place. So, very excited about this. Also, hello, Kenneth. Also, hello, Meta. Yes, it's going to be a good subject, and I appreciate the confidence in my ability to do this. I actually am I will not lie, I'm a little bit nervous on presenting this topic because it feels so big and important, and I want to make sure that I cover it well. So I have taken the time to make sure that I have bullet points to keep me on track to properly cover that, while I continue to work on a section of Minecraft that I've been working on in the server that we have. And I've been thinking the focus for what I'm building today is going to probably be an area for when people come on and I'm having talks like this. It could be an area for people to conglomerate in and just hang out. I don't know. It's something that hit my mind. So, yes, that's what I'm doing today. And I think I might have forgot to have it set to Minecraft, so it might just be a blank screen. But I will get that fixed. Hold on. We'll get this fixed. I forgot. I remembered everything except a couple areas, and then they just show through so brightly. Okay, put this over here. There. All right, there's Minecraft. That should show up in just a second, hopefully. There we go. Excellent. What conversation is going on over here? Also, have you ever noticed Brandon's got a bit of a Vegeta? Talk about my mustache again, calling it a Vegeta? What? Cut. Also, hello, little creature. What? I don't understand what you mean. Big dip in the middle of his forehead. Oh, no, nothing in my mustache. Big dip in the middle of his forehead and hairline back up to the sides. Just look it up. Widow's Peak. Yeah, I have heard of that. I've had a bit one of those too, but I'm blonde. What are you ruining opportunities, making fun of Brandon? Wow! I had to stop playing your server. The lag every few seconds was killing me. That's interesting. I'll have to figure out how to deal with that because presently there is no lag for me. So I'm curious what is causing the lag and how to fix it. But I know that happens from time to time. How dare you not laugh at him with me? Gosh. Which is just the entire point of the channel, so I don't even forget. So how do I even forget this? I don't know, Meta. I do this a lot, but I'm sure it's easy to forget because it's not like it's every day of the week that I do this, so it's fine. It's fair. Don't worry about it. You're the only one, so there doesn't lag. Fair. I'm wondering, speaking to the lag of the server, I'm wondering, if part of the lag has something to do with the extensiveness of the map and the amount of people that have automatic farms with 5,000 entities in a small crammed space, that probably is a factor in why there's so much lag, which, if my predictions are correct, I have I have a method in the back of my head of a way that I probably could do. Yeah, it could be the 5,000 mods. Yes, that's a very fair point. But I think the mods themselves is going to more so affect the personal side lag, not the overall server lag itself. Because most of the mods that I've actually added are designed for cutting through the lag that exists on the server, not so much adding any kind of big modded things that should cause a lot of lag. And there's 2 ways of curbing this, actually 3 ways of curbing this that I'm aware of. One method is a mod called RPG difficulty, which causes that the farther out a person travels, the extensively more dangerous the mobs become, making it much more difficult for a person to travel far away from the epicenter of the server. So that way there's not large swaths of land that the server has to keep up with at all times. That's one method. Another method is just putting a hard cap on how far a person can travel, which then means a big, giant, ugly border that someone has to run into, which, keeps them hemmed in, and that's its own fun. Or another way of doing it is just remove the ability for the server, and this is probably actually all of the above could be one of those solutions. But removing the ability for the server to keep a chunk running even when the thing is closed. So, that's something that's enabled through Feed the Beast and that mod. I might just have to disable that because it just caused too much issues. And maybe cull some entities. I don't know. One of the methods I've heard of reduce lag from Hermitcraft is to place magma blocks under the village profession blocks. It disables their AI, so it helps FPS a bit. Place magma blocks under village profession blocks? Interesting. Well, there's a lot of villagers out there for me to be doing that, so that would take a while to make that happen. And you say that seasons causes the issue. Now, if that's the case, I can remove that mod. It's nice to have it. I enjoy it, but if it's truly contributing to the lag, then I will remove it. In fact, actually, Jeremy has come to help out with the server, and I'll actually have him work on figuring out all the mods that is causing this lag. And as we can compile a list, then we'll just kind of cull mods until the server lag is down to a reasonable level. But I'm concerned that part of the solution is just to go with everything that exists out there. And that will be sad because a lot of work has been done. But I hope if we can avoid having to start fresh and then just removing some of the things that cause the issues, that'd probably be preferable. So, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I guess, again, my focus for today... Yeah, I know I don't want to do that either, because a lot of work has been done. A lot of people have invested in it, and I know when an investment gets just upended, that can take a lot of wind out of people's sails, and I don't want that to happen. So, if I can find a workaround, God knows I'm going to do my best to find a workaround. Another thing is that if you have big mob pens full of animals, you can place warping vines in the middle of the pens to use the shears to stop them growing if it helps the FPS. That's interesting. I was having a hard time getting Forge server to work from my own server. I could run a vanilla easily, but the modded won't start up for me. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's a careful balance. If you got a really great computer, you can have a whole bunch of mods and it works great, but, every mod can cause issues. But again, the mods that I placed in here, a large portion of them are just really quality of life and server performance. So, I think the main culprits is FTB allowing chunks to keep being rendered while no one is there. Which means gigantic farms are constantly causing ticks to go off. And then just the sheer amount of exploration that's been done. Okay. So, yeah. But, yeah, my goal... That being said, my goal is to make an area for people to conglomerate to in this floating island. And I don't know where I'm going to put that, but I'm not going to focus too heavily on that, so don't worry. So yeah, today's topic. I could do that too, yes. Thank you, I appreciate that. Today's topic is going to be on helping people without, or supporting people without enabling them. And this is really important because this is a complex thing that I can only answer through questions. Because there is a lot of gray in supporting people. There is no, I can't give an exact answer because it's got to be a case by case situation. So instead of saying, yes, you should do this or shouldn't do this, I'd rather just say, here's a list of questions you can ask yourself to guide you in the direction of determining whether or not the supporting of another person is good for you or not good for you, or good for them or not good for them. And so that's what I got. And I've got like 5 questions to ask, and I'll just kind of go through each one of them and hang out around each one of them for a little bit and to kind of look at them. So before I get to those specific questions, I'm curious, how many of you guys have actually dealt with like this particular area? Like, have you ever dealt with a situation where you're helping someone, you care about them, but you're not sure if your help to them is actually helpful or if it's enabling them to live lives that is not good? Like, is this something that you've ever encountered? What's helping? In all seriousness, I should hope you know what helping someone means in general, unless you really want me to get specific about what's helping a person. Zap. But I don't really happen to come across stuff like this. Okay, so this would be a first-time discussion for you, I suppose. Well, out of curiosity, Zap, has there been any kind of people in your life that you've tried to help? Like, for one reason or another, you've tried to help them through something. Well, that's good. I'm glad that you don't have to deal with drama, because a lot of people do. So that's a blessing. But no, curiously, like, have you had, any opportunities to, like, go and help people? Anyone, a friend, a family member, not a coworker, because I don't think you work, or like a classmate that, maybe you kind of loosely know. Okay. Go spend some time exploring your mind place. I love that. While you explore that, I'm going to copy these blocks. Oop. Well, yeah, I need to... Actually, I don't want these specific blocks. Get out of here. I want you in the very first slot. There we go. Copy you, copy you, copy you. Why do I just suddenly have 10 of you? Okay. Whatever. And now I want some dirt. There we go. And then I need a lava block. Alright, Kenneth. Let's see. I'll get some more lava in there. Good. Okay. There. Back to there. Let's see. Also, Meta, if you're out there still, I know sometimes you just kind of pop in and pop back out, but if you're still there, have you ever had to deal with this? Have you ever had anyone that you wanted to support or wanted to help or whatever in your life that, you kind of might have run the line of not quite sure, is this a person that, like, I'm helping or actually not helping in the first place at all? Out of curiosity. It sounds very selfish when I say it like this, but I think I tend to help more help myself than help other people. Okay. I mean, it can be selfish, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that's selfish in and of itself. Because how are you going to help other people if you also don't take the time to help yourself or to support yourself? Not to say that you can't help people if you're not helping yourself, because some people legitimately can't in certain areas, but they still are a help or support to others. But doesn't immediately mean that's selfish. We'd have to go more into the specifics before you could say, ah, yes, that's very selfish. But have you, like, obviously, if you don't, like, continuously... Okay, hold on. After I started watching this channel, I've been a little bit more aware of certain situations like that, but I genuinely can't think of much that I've experienced. Okay, but have you had... I can't remember. But have you had any situation where you have helped a person through something? Or perhaps supported someone through something? Oh, God! Ah! As I fall off this cliff. One more. Do something here. Here. Perfect. And then... going to need to build there. Not much else rather than really trying to support my mom when your grandmother passed. Okay! So you do have... That's what I'm trying to get to. Like, I'm not looking for, like, some perfect answer or anything. I'm just curious if you've had enough experience. That was a really big deal for her, so I was trying to do all I could. Okay, so yes, you do have some experience. So yes, you have at least a touch point area to this topic. Maybe not, like, perfect at it, sure. You know, maybe it's not apples to apples entirely yet to what some people have experienced, sure. But that's something, you know, having, you know, being there, trying to be there for your mom when your mom is really going through a rough time because she just lost her mom, that's something. Gosh, lava. Okay. Go down one further. Yes. Well, yes, somewhat. Okay, cool. Okay. Because if sooner or later, the older you get and the wiser you get, I feel, you're going to encounter situations where there's going to be people in your life that you're going to want to help. And you're going to have something that you can give, and you'll want to help them in that way. If you, for instance, you know, continue to hone your skills with cooking, there's a lot of people you can help with that. There could come a day where you'd be able to help homeless people with your cooking. And a lot of people don't have food, and there's a huge need. Everyone needs to eat. Or, you know, you can help, you know, providing a really nice restaurant atmosphere for someone. And that could turn into a place where people can come and have good conversations while enjoying a good meal. Like, there's ways you can help people, and it's different. But that is mostly it, because outside of my family, there's not really much personal stuff like that. Okay. Cool. But help and support comes in different forms, and it just depends on the person. Like, you can't expect... You can't expect someone who is wheelchair bound to be able to help with... I don't know, helping someone move their furniture to a new house. Like, they can't really, like, do the heavy lifting part. They can help. They can help with, like, organizing the people and giving them things to do if they are coherent. And it's not just a physical, you know, barrier to overcome. Well, if you mean just smaller deeds and like absolutely okay, yeah. So yeah, there's more than what it's like. It's not. Yeah, I'm not just talking about really big things. Like there are many different ways you can supply your skills to help a person. Yeah. Yeah, all like the little things and the big things, they all count as helping and or supporting a person. So yeah, like again. Not everyone can help everyone in the same way. If you are strong and muscular, you can help a person move their furniture from one house to another, because you can lift it, and because lifting heavy furniture it's a lot. I've had to do that a couple times in my life. It's not fun. But there's some people that can do that no problem. Some people have a car, and they can provide their car to help with the moving process. Some people are very organized, and they can help organize, what goes into what box or who can help with what, because they just have a good knack for reading people and knowing, okay, you're good in this area, you're not good in this area, whatever. And so everyone, sooner or later, is going to have an opportunity to help at some capacity over the course of their life. And for some people, they might even have the capacity to support another person on a regular basis. And that's really important. And the degree of which you support a person is going to be very circumstantial. And there's not one way to look at it. I try to help I try and help a lot with stuff like picking up garbage or shoveling snow in the winter or stuff like that all year round. Just when I have the opportunity, small things like that really make a difference. Yes, I definitely agree. They do. And it's in the little things that big habits are formed, and big character is formed out of those little seemingly innocuous moments. And so yeah, that's good. It's good to recognize that, to pause and see the areas where you have helped people. And that's really important, because recognizing the ways that you help people is a part of the process of recognizing also whether you should or should not be supporting a person. Because there does exist people that can see what you're strong in, and they'll try to control it for their benefit. And by helping them, you can be enabling them. There's not a lot of people out there that do that, but there are people. And so it's good to recognize what you're worth, and what you're capable of, and how you can help, so that way you can know when or when not you are giving away your resources, your time and energy to do the little things that you do. And this was not a direction I was planning on going, but I'm glad that I went this direction, because that's a calculation I've thought of, but I didn't think about writing down. So that's good. Also, I will say that I'm a little bit in need of context. What exactly do you mean by enabling them? Okay, cool. So let's start with some definitions here. When it comes to support and enabling people, so we kind of just went over what it looks like to help people and to support them. It's the little things you do, like you listed. There's some things are big, like being there for a person, helping them through an emotionally hard time so that they're not suffering alone. Or little things like taking out the trash, maybe cooking a meal, or just talking. Those are different ways that you can support a person. But enabling a person, what that means when you begin to enable a person is that you are... There's so many different ways. I want to start by anchoring myself to a definition that's already out there, and then kind of going from there, because there's more than a handful of ways that I can answer your question, and I want to do it well. So give me a second here. Let's pull up this definition of enabling. Okay, what do we got here? Okay, verb. Give someone or something the authority or means to do something. Computing. Make a device or system operational. Activate. I did not know that was also in the definition of enabling. Fascinating. What are the definitions we got here, Merriam-Webster? To provide with the means or opportunity, to make possible, practical, or easy, to cause, to operate, to give legal power, capacity, or sanction to. Okay. Cool. Thank you, Merriam-Webster. So we got enabling. And the way that I look at it, more from that definition, the kind of the context that I'm specifically thinking of here. Yes, Firefox. Is that when you're enabling a person, you are giving them authority to do something specifically in your life, good or positive. Good or negative. Especially now we're thinking about that in that definition. So what that could look like is if there is, and oftentimes the context when someone's talking about enabling a person is if there is a person who, let's just go with the basics. They never take out the trash that's in your life. Like they just refuse to do anything for the family. They're not taking out the trash. They are not even putting things into the main trash can. Effectively, they just kind of avoid all responsibilities in that way. Enabling them would mean that you continue to take out the trash for them and don't give them an opportunity to take care of the trash themselves. You do not provide any sort of consequences for their actions. It's just every time there's trash, you're taking care of it for them. They're not dealing with it. They're not going to deal with it because you keep dealing with it for them. You are enabling them to live a life that is lazy and inconsiderate of other people. And we're talking about in a situation not where they don't have the capacity to take the trash out or to put their trash into the main trash can. They actually have the capacity, but instead of actually making them do so and not doing it for them, you keep doing them for them, and so they keep not taking the trash out. That's the most common way of referring to enabling, but it can be a positive or negative thing. In the positive sense, let's say you have a person who is really scared of telling the truth because they're afraid of the judgment, and so they continuously avoid certain topics that they know they'd have to be truthful on. Not to say that they're pathological liars, but to say that they just, in this area, they're scared of what will happen. Enabling them to tell the truth is to create a safe place where they can speak whatever the truth is that's on the inside without fear of you rejecting them and casting them out of your life. Creating a safe space for them to continue to speak the truth without fear of judgment. Yeah. So those, positive or negative, it's giving someone the circumstance necessary to continue doing a thing, whatever that thing is, good or negative. And throughout life, you're probably going to encounter a wide range of different types of people. You're going to probably encounter people that are very independent, and they're going to do things without you asking for them to do it. You're going to encounter people who are very dependent, who will not do things without you asking for them to do it, or cannot do things without you doing it for them. You're going to encounter people that are going to not help you, but it's not coming from a malicious place. They just either can't or they never thought to help you. You're going to encounter people who are going to use you, probably. Like at some point or other, there's a good chance you might encounter people that are going to try to use you, and so they're going to see what you're strong in, and they're going to kind of buffet you in a sense. They want you to continue to help them indefinitely, and they'll do or say anything to keep you helping them, regardless of how good or bad it is for you. And so these questions that I have here can really be helpful, I think, to navigate what to do in each circumstance. And these are questions that I've thought of over the course of my life and that kind of was able to pull together. So yeah. Also, this is a very unusual stream topic, but for some reason, I really want to stream on how to express your emotions, because I feel like that's something I really need to improve on. Though I may need to learn that in English class rather than here. I guess English. I'm not sure English class is equipped for teaching someone how to express. So, well, I mean, like, it could teach you how to write about your emotions, I suppose, like giving you words to say. So there is that. But like, besides imparting to you language in order to have the words, it's not going to necessarily impart to you either the courage to speak the words or the knowledge of when to express or how, per se, other than through writing. So, like, yes, I guess I never thought of it that way. That's very interesting. And maybe you're partially joking. I'm not sure. But I guess there are some ways of learning a language that helps you learn how to express emotion just by giving you the words, like the tools of what to say and what word means what. Huh. This is not wrong. But it only gives you half the tools, I think. Not all of them. It could tell you what word means what and explain, how to pronounce it and maybe how to write it, but not necessarily much beyond that. At least not in my experience. Yeah. No, I definitely want to actually make that. That sounds right at I'd love to talk about how to express your emotions. As you can see, I'm very emotive in general, so, like, I'm very passionate about that. And I know I have plenty of people in my life that struggle with their emotions, so this is great. No, I will talk about that in the future, Zap. And part of today's stream, too, is utilizing that suggestion that you made the other time as well about boundaries, because talking about how to support people without enabling them, it also connects in with setting boundaries. So it works out. Like, I kind of want to, like, have a whole stream to talk about that alone by itself, about having boundaries, respecting people's boundaries, knowing which boundaries are healthy and not healthy. But I'm happy to say that part of this stream will touch on that anyways. So thank you. It's good. You may not have as many questions as people do, but you do have good ones when you do have questions. So I'm proud of you. But yeah, so you understand. You understand, like, what supporting someone looks like and helping them, and you understand what enabling them generically looks like. But to kind of figure out how to help or how to support a person without enabling them, there are different questions to be asked, and that's what I want to go over now. I just want to also keep building out this lava because it's really easy to do this without thinking a lot. Although not entirely. A good deal of my memory RAM is going into press key to make block disappear. Oh gosh. Okay. So the first question that I wrote down, when it comes to figuring out how to support someone without enabling them. First part is to ask the question, do you even... Actually, no. I do want to come to that next. It feels like it should be first. It's kind of split between two, all right? You could go either way, which one's the first question. But the first one that came to my mind is, what are your motives in supporting this person? This is a very important question when you're trying to determine if what you're doing by supporting them is enabling them to do things that they shouldn't do. Because your motives will say a lot to, even if you should be supporting them in the first place. So what do I mean by that? If you are trying to support someone because you are trying to get something in return, and that is your only motive, it's a transactional exchange. I do this for you, you do this for me. That can get a little bit sticky. That's a business. That's not necessarily a friendship. So it has to be in its proper context. If you're doing something for someone because it's your job to do something, there's a context for which I'm helping this person because I'm trying to get something out of this person. Because that's pretty much retail. It's like, I help you with shoes, or I make you this food, or whatever. It's not personal. I just want to take care of you because you're going to pay me back, and this is going to take care of me, so we're mutually benefiting from one another. But at the end of the day, after you clocked out of work, if you're still doing things exclusively for transaction, that may not be a good motive to be helping someone or supporting someone. If you're just helping them because you want to get something out of them by helping them, that might not be a good idea. Also, Lauren, Noah, Tim, and Jeremy are all online, and I am the only viewer. I can't necessarily do anything about that. Noah and Lauren, and specifically Noah, has committed to helping out with streams, specifically on Saturday's Betrayal. They have specifically dedicated, because I don't pay them. So, like, keep in mind, Zap, no one in thoughtraid gets paid for what they do. So I can't really have expectations for them to, like, be on every stream that I'm doing. Although that'd be nice. Yeah, I don't pay them. I don't get paid. All that I'm doing is for free. Wow. Yeah, I don't, like, if we had more supporters and I was able to actually provide them a wage, then it would be a different deal of, like, okay, I expect you to be here during this time. But until then, you know, everything that they do is volunteer. They help me because they believe in what we do, what I do. I mean, really, Tim is like, in terms of signing everything, he's with me on that. So, like, you know, Tim, he's in it with me. And Noah and Lauren, they really believe in what we do. So they're here because they believe in what we do, and they've been a big help in many different ways. I believe in you too, no, jeez. Look, Zap, if you, real talk, real quick, if you legitimately want to help as a moderator one day, we do have, like, a code of ethics that we hold our leadership to, and you're gonna have to think long and hard if you actually wish to support us in those ways or not, because if you don't, I'm not looking to just add anyone into my moderation team. Welcome back, Kenneth. So just full disclosure. Yeah. So yeah, I don't want you joining for the wrong reasons. And I want to know, you know, would you support us truly, and where we stand on certain things. And so until I know, and you know that you'd want to do that, you know, it's not for everyone. But anyways, but that's not to say that I wouldn't want you one day being on my moderator team, because I do appreciate you being here as consistently as you are. And you know that. So yeah, Kenneth, we haven't covered too much just yet. But we have covered a few things, what you've missed in the time frame that you were gone. that we talked about was we kind of defined what supporting a person looks like, and what enabling a person might look like. We went over like the definition of that in the Merriam-Webster, and then I kind of described it with my own definition from what I've learned and what people generally are referring to when they're talking about enabling people. And I had asked the question to Zap, and I'll ask it to you. Have you encountered a situation of where you've had to, like, wrestle with the question of, am I helping this person truly, or am I enabling them? And that's kind of like the main question I'm curious about with each person. To kind of, like, have a touch point of, like, how much... And I'm sure you probably have had to thought of that, like, being a father, I'm sure of it, but I still have to ask the question. This incredibly young man wouldn't have much experiences saying that he's not as old as you are. Oh, God. I'm not old. One day, when you're in your 30s, you'll realize you're not old either. In fact, you'll start to realize you're not old when you're 20 and everyone starts saying you're old, because about that time is when everything shifted. Everyone's like, you're so old! I'm like, ugh. No, I am not old. Also, one thing that we had gone over, Kenneth, was... the first question that I felt like is good to ask when you're trying to determine if or if not you are enabling a person. And that was a question of motive. You do not know? I'm certain you've had some situations where you've asked that question. Certainly you had to have. Therefore, using Einstein's theory of relativity, I can prove that compared to me, you are indeed old. Well, okay, yes, by that simplicity, yes, I am old. Older. But in the grand scheme of things, I'm not old. Ugh. Wow. Yes, a confession. I'm older than you. What? Oh. Wait. There we go. Okay. So yeah, you've had to deal with that. Perfect, cool. So you're familiar with the topic. I have too. We are in good company here. So yeah, and I was explaining in the moment that, like, if you haven't dealt with something like this, you're probably very likely to eventually deal with it. Because I think in general, you know, if you have any bone in your body that wishes to help people, you're gonna have to figure out, like, the balance between helping people and being absolutely not helpful at all. I'm not sure about helping, lending to enabling them. Okay. So, like, the area that you're not so certain of is, like, by you helping and supporting a person, it's actually been, like, not helpful for them. I think you got it right. You said leading to enabling them. Yeah, I think you got it right the first time. Because I see no difference between the two writings. This is going to dive directly in... Oh, that should be fine. Okay. Oh, lending. Oh, I see. You're correcting me. Got it. Well, hey, this would be a good thing to talk about then. The only situation I can think of right now where this would apply to me would be helping other people with math work, so they're just so used to me almost doing it for them, they won't do it for themselves. Yeah, that would probably be a good example. Yes. Helping someone doing the math for them that they don't end up doing the math for themselves. Yes. That would be an example of helping someone to the degree that it is enabling them to not do their own math problems. Yeah. So yeah, helping someone into a point of enabling them means effectively that you are okay, so by definition, kind of taking a step back, Kenneth, by definition, enabling someone means effectively you're doing something for them that enables them to continue doing something else. So like, it could be negative, it could be positive. Positively, helping someone, enabling someone, like saying that someone maybe deals with anxiety and they're afraid to speak their mind because they're concerned that by speaking their mind, they're going to be rejected. Enabling them to speak their mind means providing a safe space for them to talk about what's on their mind that they are not so comfortable talking about without rejecting them. And providing like a space like that they know that, and they have seen that every time they bring up to you something that is uncomfortable for them, you have positively responded by still being there for them. Not necessarily meaning that, like, everything they say you just always are positive about, and if you disagree, that, like, you never speak your disagreement. But, you know, just being there for them and proving to them over time that, hey, you're safe enough to share these, you know, uncomfortable things. Yes, exactly. That's good enabling. But there's also negative enabling where, like, for instance, again, like an example of just something basic of, like, a person doesn't take out the trash. Negatively enabling them means instead of making them responsible for taking out their own trash, instead you are constantly taking out their trash for them, and so they get used to you not taking out the trash, and they may not actually have any problem taking out the trash at all, but because you consistently do it for them, they're not going to do it themselves. And if you're resentful about that you have supported them too much. You have supported them when you should have not supported them, because you have now instead created a space for you to be resentful of them not doing a thing that you want them to do. So you have enabled them to be lazy in that circumstance. Or on an even more, like, darker perspective, like enabling someone, like society, like enabling people for, well, enabling people to persecute an entire group of people, like, for instance, Christian persecution. That's a real thing that happens around the globe. It's enabled by a government that sows misinformation about the Christian people, you know, making them to be the devil themselves, and then they can justify negative activities towards Christians, resulting in them beating up Christians or killing them or torturing them. Is another form of enabling, but this time of a higher scale. You know, creating comedy around somebody, you know, always joking about them. You're enabling other people to look negatively about that person because you are joking about them, making little of them in their jokes, like belittling the problems, making them look like they have no control over a situation when they might. I don't know, like lying, like enables people to do evil, sadistic things. So there's different degrees of enabling people, from small little things to big giant things, good and bad. You know, enabling people to live and rise above racism, you know, being there, giving them opportunities to do more with their lives rather than constantly disqualifying them from doing a thing. That could be a very positive and big thing. Yeah, it could be so in-depth, good or bad. So it's many things. It could be, now, a lot of enabling, a lot of that stuff is built in the small little things we do throughout the day, and so it's really good to kind of take a picture of all the little ways that we help a person. Helping people can look as simple as, like, what are you good at? Like, are you really strong? Well, you can help them with moving things. Are you really creative? You can help them with, art. You could help them with, are you good with writing? You can write positive affirmations or really good stories. There's many ways you can help. You're good at cooking. You can help them by providing meals. A really good meal can go a long way. There's different ways of helping a person. It doesn't have to be such big things, but all those little things add up in helping a person. So recognizing your worth, recognizing your strengths can help you recognize when you're giving away something to a person, and it's good to kind of figure out, okay, is this person in need of this support, and do I even want to give this support, or is this turning into enabling for something negative? The first question that I ask to kind of help to recognize am I properly supporting them, or am I and I guess in this case I'm going to focus in on negative enablement. The first question to ask yourself, if you're in a situation you're not sure if you're properly supporting someone, and if your support is turning into enabling them for something negative, the first question to ask, I think, that I wrote down here was, what are your motives in supporting this person or helping this person? Because that's really important. If you can't figure out why you're supporting them, then you're going to continue to support them unwittingly. You can. It's easy to form resentments towards them. It's easy for a lot of things to kind of go wrong in this area if you don't take the time to kind of look into what are your motives in the first place. So, for instance, one motivation of helping a person, like I was mentioning earlier, could be helping them with the express purpose of getting something in return. And this is not necessarily immediately a bad thing, because there's a place for it. I'm not going to work helping people, connecting them to their shoes, working at New Balance, because for free, for nothing. I want in return money for my job. I got bills I gotta pay. This is not a gratuitous job for me. And I think in a situation where you're doing something for somebody that you can do and you're willing to do, but you're not willing to do on a consistent basis, I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting something in return. But if you're wanting a deeper friendship or a more meaningful connection, doing something for pay or doing something because you're wanting something in return can get sticky. Hello, Calypso. And so it's really important to kind of pay attention to your motives in helping someone. So if you are only ever helping anybody, just simply for what you can get in return, I don't think that's a really good motive in helping people. Because it's just, there's no depth in that. There's just only surface level with that. And I've seen that play out a couple times. I actually had one person in my life, and whose main motive in helping me ever, or any other person, was always for what he could get in return for that. And it wasn't great. My strengths, has always been helping people think through things without fear of being rejected for their thoughts, because that's something I've always needed myself. So I give what I want from others, and I'm good at it. Hello, Jackson. But I've had that taken advantage of. And I've had people just want me to help them through stuff to feel better, and then once I wasn't able to help them anymore in that area, that was the end of our, connection. And that really sucks, and that is not a relationship that I can continue, in a close proximity. I could do that from a distance, and that's something I could do if I was being paid for it with just like a one-to-one situation. But having, doing that simply as for just being used for doing it with no depth of relationship on the other side can become problematic. I struggled with being helpful to people in order to feel wanted, set myself up for being used. Yeah. And so for me, if I were to help someone just simply because I want something in return, like if I'm going to use my strengths to help someone simply for what I want in return, I have to be aware of, okay, like, I need to make sure that my heart's in the right place. Am I doing this in the right context? Because a lot of times I will help people with not really much expectation return in that. Like, I know that, like, when I'm helping someone, like, for instance, when I'm helping you guys, I'm not really expecting anything in return from you guys. I'm not looking, I would love to be able to do this one day full time, but this is something that's a part of, integrated with who I am. And so as long as I'm not having people use me for it, they're not trying to be exclusively transactional, like, oh, help me, and then they just disappear from my life or whatever. Like, and not to say, like, disappearing from my life is a problem, because people are going to come, people are going to go. That's a whole nother story. But, like, thinking about it in a close proximity, that's where it becomes a problem. In this is something that I enjoy doing, so it's not... I feel like I'm fumbling over my words here. There's just context to it. There's proper places for it. I have been used for it where it's been used against me, but then there are places where it's not been used against me. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Because as I'm saying that, I realize some of what I'm saying kind of sounds like it could be contradictory, but I'm like, no, I'm really thinking of this in a personal one-on-one setting. So, like, okay. Eventually, yeah, you're going to get something in return eventually. Just give me a couple years. Again, I don't do this with expectation for return. It's if you want to, not because you have to. I have faith that at some point, if this is what God wants me to do, which I think it is, eventually it will turn into something where I can focus on exclusively and not have to worry about where the money's going to come from. I trust God in that matter. I'm not expecting anything in return for it. But if you already... I guess what I'm trying to say is... trying to pull it together. If the relationship with the person is not customer-based, if the relationship with the person is not job-based, and you are helping them with the motive of expecting to get something in return, that may be an area that you want to stop helping them in that circumstance, is what I think I'm trying to say here. Because if you're the person who only does things for people because you expect something in return, then there is no depth in the relationship. All you ever have is shallow, distant relationships. That's not good, and you can get into the territory of manipulating and using people for what you can gain from them. That's not good. I've been on the receiving end of that, is what I'm trying to say. And if you are helping somebody in a situation because of what you can get back from them only with that motive, that could be an area where you want to reevaluate the why. Why am I still helping them while expecting something in return? Because if you continue to help someone with the expectation to get back and they're not giving back anything, you are hurting yourself in the process of giving, because in reality, you're not just doing it from an altruistic perspective. That's what I'm trying to say. Hello. Okay. We're pulling it in. This is all creative mode. That's why I'm finding all this lava. So yeah, I have not just gone and found a whole bunch of lava. I am putting it in because this is the spawn area, so I don't want to really have to deal with, you know, finding a whole bunch of things to make this spawn area look nice. So there we go. That's what I was trying to say. I was not finding the right words because I was stuck in one area. Okay, so yes. Consider what is your motive in supporting a person. If it is where you're expecting something back and they're not providing anything back in return, it is okay not to help them in this particular context. But there are other questions to be asked to kind of narrow that down, because there might be situations where you're trying to help somebody and you're trying to support them and they can't give anything back in return, and that doesn't mean you shouldn't continue to support them. It doesn't mean that you are going to enable them, because there are external circumstances that play a factor into whether or not you should or should not support them. Wait, I will not question what Hakachow is. Oh, Hakachow is a restaurant. Even though you did not ask the question, I'm answering it anyways, because you kind of did ask the question, Zap. It's a restaurant. Asian fusion restaurant. Delicious food. So, yeah. So, just exclusively looking at the situation, no other factors involved, looking at your motivation, if you can find that your motivation in helping or supporting a person is exclusively because you're expecting something in return and they're not able to provide anything in return, continuing to help them can enable them in this specific circumstance. Because you are giving away something that you do not want to give away, and that is okay. It is okay to not give away whatever thing you have to give in order to support them. There should not be, in this specific circumstance, a reason why you should have to give to them. You don't want to give with expectation return and the person is not returning back anything. Because by continuing to do that, you are enabling them to continue to not return back to you any sort of dividends for the help that you're giving them. It is better for you to say, I'm not going to help you, than to continue to help them when you actually don't want to, because what you're wanting is something in return for what you're doing. Does that make sense? Because I got off on a tangent, I lost where I was headed, we're back on track. Am I making sense? I know. Well, I will get more specific because I have more questions to ask, but I wanted to start with like a list of questions that can be asked in order to kind of come to the conclusion of whether or not you're supporting someone is or is not enabling them, or, you know, how to support someone without enabling them. So that's just the first question of 5 that I've got written down. Is there any way that I can narrow that down, though, to make it more digestible? Because all this makes sense in my head, but I know that not everyone is in my head. So, is there any way that I can make it better? Yeah. Bring it all the way out to here, I think. Yeah. Which, in the most general sense, it's going to kind of come with that context. You'll be opening up my kind for sure. What does that mean? Your wording, I don't understand your wording. Okay. Gotcha, okay. So yeah, please, if I'm saying anything and it's not making sense, or it's, like you said, hurting your mind, let me know, and let me know how I can help, because I don't want this to be so difficult or whatever. Like, I can work on my wording and everything to make it more, palpable. I'm glad. That means a lot to hear that. Thank you for saying that, Zap. You are learning, yes. I'm trying to condense down 31 years of living, 4 years of college, and thousands of conversations with friends and people that have had my life into the most, like, simplistic way that I can, that, like, anyone can understand, because I really want people to, like, I want them to walk away empowered. Yes, oh my gosh. You have nothing to say, Kenneth. You're as old as I am. Get out of here. What are you talking about? Let's see. There. Good. Nope, don't you dare. Can I roll for gaslighting? Wow. No, I don't want any gaslighting happening in my stream. That's not fun. I have been under that too many times in my life. No, thank you. It's just an automatic crit fail. Gaslighting is fun to joke about, terrible to experience. I cannot tell you the pain. I cannot express the pain that I've experienced of having my entire life under question, insanity and everything, and, like, being pit against good, healthy people in my life, looking at them as the enemy, and not knowing right from wrong, because I'm being, essentially, you know, for lack of better words, mind-wiped by a person who's gaslighting me. It's not fun. It just sucks. But it is fun to joke about, because, I guess at times, depending on how far you go with it, because it's so ridiculous, and unfair. But you have to laugh at it sometimes. Exactly, yes, I'm overreacting. It's not that serious. What are you even talking about? I guess we can't have conversation. I guess we can't joke about gaslighting, because clearly you're not really able to handle it. Ugh. Memories. So, alright. So, jokes aside, back to the topic. So, we got the first question. What are your motives in supporting a person? Are they selfish or are they genuine? If you're able to support a person because you genuinely want to, and they're not able to do anything in return, but you still want to help the person, you may still be enabling them in some ways, but you have the fortitude to be able to properly handle it. It hasn't gone over into sticky territory where you're helping someone beyond their expiration date of helping them. So knowing your motive in helping them is very important, because it's an indicator of when you should stop, because it is no longer helpful. It's Brandon's face, gosh. So knowing your motives and why you're helping people is a very important part of knowing whether or not you're helping them to the point of enabling them, or should you even support them at all. So if you're in a situation where you are able to help or support a person with completely altruistic motives with no expectation of any return, that's a safe place to continue to help them most of the time. Because if you had to say no to them, there would be a problem, because you're not doing it because you feel like you have to. So that's okay in that circumstance. Because sometimes you're going to have to help or support a person beyond what they're able to do for you in return. And that's where the second question comes into play. So, I don't help people or support others. It isn't not because I won't, just haven't. Isn't not because I won't, just haven't? Or are you asking, is it not because I won't, but just haven't? Like, what exactly are you asking? Because the wording is confusing to me a little bit. It looks like you're making a statement, but I can't tell. I don't avoid helping others. I just haven't had any experiences with it. I don't know if that's the case, Kenneth. Like you don't have to don't overthink it. Like, you have children. You have people that you have to support at some capacity. You have your wife whom you support at some capacity. Yeah, you're definitely overthinking it. Like you of all people, I am confident you are supporting some people in your life. Yeah. Support themselves. Yeah. Sure. Now, that's not to say, there are different levels of helping people and different types of people of which to help. But yeah, does the requirement change it? So wait, what exactly are you asking? Because I think I know what you're asking, but I want to be 100% positive before I open my mouth on that. What exactly are you asking with that question, Kenneth? But does the requirement change it? Like, are you asking because you have to help them? Does that mean that you are enabling them? Is that what you're asking? Especially the kids, yeah. So, yeah. Like, regardless if you have to or don't have to help a person or support them, you're going to enable them for something. Because if you look at I want to bring up the exact definition of enable. The exact definition of enable is to provide with the means or opportunity, to make possible, practical, or easy, to cause to operate, to give legal power, capacity, or sanction to. So in the most broadest sense of the term, whenever you are supporting anyone and anything, you are enabling them in that area. So I don't want it... Maybe in this stream, we can start to look at enabling as both a positive and a negative thing. In many ways, by supporting and helping your kids, you are enabling them to have a life, a good life. Opportunities that other kids may not be able to have. That is enabling them in a positive way. At the same time, if there are things that you're doing for them that it's time for them to do, that could also be enabling them in a negative sense. Like if there's something that you know that they need to start doing for themselves or stop doing, and you keep taking on the punishment for it rather than allowing the punishment to fall on them for it, that could be negative enabling them in a negative direction. So yeah. So it can go either ways. And so that's why I want to ask these questions, because by asking these questions, we can go like, look, okay, do I want to continue to enable them in this direction? Are my motives are all in the right place? And it can make it a little bit easier when deciding what direction I should take in this situation. So again, first, we're looking at, why are you helping them in the first place? You know, are you helping them? What's your motives? Are you helping them because you want something in return? Then enabling them in a negative direction would be, like, if they're not doing anything in return back, continuing to do something for them is negative enabling. Like, you are enabling them to continue to not help you while you do all the work. That would be negative enabling. If you recognize that your motive is purely, I want something in return, and you keep doing without something in return, you are harming yourself in the process by still doing that thing for them. But if you are capable of doing something for them, and you're doing it because you want to do it, and you don't feel need for anything in return, that's okay. Then continue helping them in that area. Unless you see that by doing something for them, you know, that you want to do, but it's causing them to do bad things, then that's another story. But yeah, I was definitely helping little Kenneth, pushing him into IT and programming. I also require them to be independent because I know it will help them. Yeah. So, like, if you are doing things that are well within their ability to do, then those are areas you might want to stop helping them in that area, because by doing it for them, they're going to just continue to rely on you to do that very thing. Which leads into the second question that I have when trying to determine whether or not you're going to help them without enabling them or whatever. And the question is, do you need to support them? This is a really important question, because I really think that there are situations where you're going to have to help somebody, because if you don't help them, they literally cannot help themselves. And so this is a really important question. Do you need to support them? Because there are going to be a lot of people out there that need support at some capacity. You've got homeless people that need a shelter, they need food. You've got children that need protection and education. You've got elderly people that might need support getting from one place to another, or a bath. Like, they can't bathe themselves because they're too old. You might have, you know, a person with cerebral palsy that can't move. They might need help getting from point A to point B or whatever, because their body is too stiff or too flexible or whatever. However, I think it's usually becoming too stiff that cerebral palsy is. Correct me if I'm wrong. My mom always did my laundry. I had to learn it later in life to do it. Yeah, same. If I may, I think a negative example would more be something like doing the dishes for them, because if you keep doing it, they're never going to learn to do it later in life. Yeah. At some point, you have to let them start doing their own, or just push them a little to start doing it. Yeah. If you see that a person needs to do their dishes, and you keep doing their dishes, they're not going to do their dishes. Eventually, they're just going to be, if they're not doing it already, they're not going to do it at all. If they've been lackadaisically doing it, they're especially not going to do it if you keep doing it for them. And there are ways you can work around that. There's different ways you can kind of stop that. Not all the time of just, I'm not going to do the dishes for you. That's not always going to work, because I think if you had kids, you'd know that, like, kids are very good at avoiding responsibilities, and if it never gets done, then you're going to be waiting a while. So there's going to be a situation where punishment is necessary. Yeah, you won't do it for anyone. So yeah, so like there has to, when setting a boundary with somebody, there has to be a punishment for it. If boundary is not kept. But therein comes, once again, the second question, which is, do you need to support them? Because really figuring out who you do and do not need to support can really help you kind of like protect the level of energy you have to support people or your resources. So, connected to the question of do you need to support them are other questions. Like, one of the big obvious areas of do you need to support someone is, are they your children? And how old are they? Because, like, a baby cannot take care of itself. Just not going to happen. And for to say, oh, am I enabling this baby by feeding the baby and washing the baby and all these other things? Yes, 100% you are, and you should, because that baby will die if you don't take care of that baby. Like, it's a given. You gotta take care of the baby. All right. But let's say it's now a teenager. All right. Okay, at that point, they gotta take care of their own responsibilities. Unless they have either a mental incapacity or a physical incapacity, like, they gotta do things on their own by that point. And by doing things like, taking care of them in certain ways is just no longer necessary. And continuing to do it for them, you gotta determine with the first question, what's my motives in taking care of them? If you can do it for the right motives, great. If you don't want to do it, then let them do it. But make it their responsibility to do something, because by continuing to do it for them, they will just naturally become reliant on you doing it. Stop feeding your children. You're enabling them. They feed themselves. There you go. CDS is coming. The only law requires me to provide. Only requires me to provide it, man. So do you need to support them? That's an important question, because if you don't, like, do you need to help every single homeless person you see? Do you need to support a recovering addict? Do you need to do certain things? You may not need to. They might not actually need that. And if you continue to help someone who does not need your help, that can form resentment. That can become a place where you're negatively enabling them. Like, for instance, in some of the more extreme circumstances where it could be either way, you may have a person in your life who has a substance addiction of some sort. You have to ask yourself, do you need to support them? Because if you continue to support a person with a substance abuse issue, that could turn into negatively enabling them. If you keep taking care of their bills, if you continue to, take the flack for the mistakes that they make, if you, even in some stream, if you keep providing them a place to stay, when they've proven time and time again that they are just going to continue doing the same thing, that can be a negative form of enabling that will cause them to remain stuck in their addiction and not do anything about it, because every time they have the opportunity to feel pain for the mistakes that they're making, you swoop in to take away the pain, which then causes them to continue making the stupid decisions that got them into their bad place in the first place. We had to get my mother-in-law out for that. Yeah. And it doesn't have to just be people that are more distal to you. Sometimes it has to be people that are closer to you. Like sometimes parents. It hurts really bad to have to do that. But if they don't need your support, they just want your support, and it's causing, and you can't do it for a good motive. Like, you can see that this is turning into a sour place. Enabling them is to continue to help them in that way, and it's not a good thing. My life feels like a Disney movie compared to the stuff I hear on these streams. Hang in there, Zap. I understand what that feels like. With the stuff I've been through, even still, I feel like I've had a really good life, and I understand that. No, you have not told me that, Kenneth. That really sucks. I'm sad to hear that. Yeah. Yeah, I bet making that decision probably wasn't easy, though, coming to make that decision. I have another friend in my life has, like, a father not in prison, although he's been in and out of prison, and he's had to make some similar decisions. But it hurt. It hurt, but it's been a long time now. Yeah. Yeah. I imagine it did hurt. And I imagine that it's something that will probably hurt again and again from time to time, too. At random intervals. When you least expect it, kind of thing. My heart goes out to you on that one, Kenneth. You know, kind of similar to what you're saying, Zap. Like, I'm grateful in this moment and feel like my life has been Disney in this moment because of not having to deal with that with my own dad. So, like, I understand both perspectives here. I had a place for him to stay, and I refused. He was homeless for 3 years on and off. Yeah. See, that sounds like a situation very similar to my friend. Like, he's had to deal with the very similar kind of dynamic with his own dad, too. Okay. I'll just take a second to make a little bit of progress here. I'm not doing absolutely nothing. Okay. Build that up there. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. IRS? I'm with you. I'm with the IRS. I am the IRS, and I'm with the IRS. You're missing $2,000. Oh my God! The IRS has arrived. Oh no! Oh, I'm pretty sure the IRS would have more official means of getting to me if that was actually the issue. Oh. So anyways, so asking the question, do you need to support them is a really good, important question to ask, because, like, once you kind of figured out what your motives are, I'm enabling the government by paying taxes. Yeah. Once you figure out, like, your motives behind supporting a person, the next thing you want to figure out is, do you need to support them? Because you don't need to support everyone. Everyone has a limited amount of resources, when it comes to helping people, with limited amount of energy they can give, a little, like, only a certain amount of money they can give, whatever, possessions, whatever. There are just limited amounts we can give, so you can't help everyone. And so asking the question, do you need to support them, is a really important way of kind of figuring out where your boundaries begin and where someone else's responsibilities begin for their own sake. And so, like, figuring that out is, how proximal are they to you, and what is their level of capacity? Are they your children? Obviously, that's going to take priority. Like, they need you. They, up to a certain point, they're going to need you. And then maybe possibly in the end of your life, you're going to need them, kind of thing. Parents, if you've had non-toxic parents, they've been honorable, they've lived a good life, they've helped you. You might have a period of time where you need to help them, because they've supported you, now you can support them. That's a situation that's going to be different for each person, because not everyone has good parents. Some parents are already dead, but some parents, are really good, and it's not a situation that'd be icky. It's a good way of honoring them to take care of your parents. So, do you need to support them? Did God tell you to support them? Like, another really good thing to ask, God directly, do I need to support this person? Because God is really good at seeing the hearts of everyone and knows their intention, knows where they're coming from, knows what they do and do not need. And God is really good with boundaries. Like, he's set boundaries into motion. He knows what you are capable of and what you're not. And so you can ask him, and he can share with you and show you, yes, this person in your life you need to support, and this is how you support them. Because sometimes, he might call you to support someone that you wouldn't normally support, and it would be very good and healthy for you. Although if you were to help them in any other context without his calling you to help them, it might not turn out well. So asking God, is this a person that I need to specifically have in my life supporting, is a really good thing to do. And once you can figure that out, then the next question is, do you want to support them? And I think this is a really good question in determining whether or not you're enabling them in a negative sense, because unless you have to support a person, if you don't have to support them and you don't want to support them, you don't have to support them. Very simply. Honestly, it's not healthy to help somebody if you do not want to help them and they don't need you. It's not helping them, it's not helping you. When you help beyond your limits, what you are capable of helping and where you're supposed to help, it takes a lot out of you to do so. And if you don't want to do it and you continue to do it, resentment can form. And if you are feeling resentful for helping somebody, you don't have to help them unless you know, God told you to, or they are literally incapable otherwise, and there's no other way to get help for them. So if it's not one of those situations, we've answered those questions, and you don't want to help them, don't help them. Because any continuing to help them can do a lot of different things. It can give this false sense of camaraderie with the person, because they think, this person must clearly, love me or whatever, because they keep helping me in this capacity when that might not be the case at all. So it's really important to not set that false expectation. I don't think you have to worry about that because you're not even in this country. I'm not sure that's a thing outside of this country, or if it is, it's not the same name. I don't know. So, do you want to support them? That's a very valid question, and if the answer is no, don't. Because you're not benefiting them. My maple syrup. You're not benefiting them in supporting them when you're beyond your capacity to support them. And just not feeling up to supporting them is valid. Again, emotional energy is a resource. And if you don't have the resource to give, if you are giving and you are emotionally exhausted, and there is no reason for you to give, don't. Because then they'll know your boundaries. They'll know, okay, this person, doesn't really have the capacity to give in this area either right now or in general. And that is okay. That does not diminish your value as a person. It doesn't make you less than. It does not make you evil. It just makes you human. And and it also helps you with honesty. When you stop helping people that you don't want to help, it makes you realize where your resources actually lie and what you're capable of and who is feeding into your life and who is taking from your life. Because everywhere that you are supporting someone is an area that just it's a net loss. You're probably not going to get much out of that unless you've gone into a contractual agreement that it's going to turn into them giving you something in return. So pay attention to that and pay attention to what you do or do not want to do. Plain and simple. So yeah, simple question. Does everything make sense so far? Have I lost anybody? Or is there any kind of like circumstantial questions that like, could be clarified on? Loud and clear, cool. Or any disagreements with what I'm saying? Okay, cool. I think I want to ask questions like that more often because, like, I like to assume that everyone is understanding what I'm saying because I work really hard to, word it well and everything, but not all the time is that the case, and I want to know what I'm failing to, make sense. So thank you. So from there, we've established what is your motive in helping them. Do you even need to help them at all? Do you want to help them? Another question that's good to ask is, what areas can you support them in selfless ways without the threat of becoming resentful towards them? So, you don't have to help everyone in the same exact way. Like, if you, again, I like going to this example because I myself am not a very physical person. Like, I'm not very, athletic is the word. I'm not very athletic person. So for me, to try to support a person with moving heavy objects, or to be their gym partner, that's not my forte. And if I were to try to help you in that area and support you at the gym, I would be a pretty bad person for that. And it would be very exhausting. I could do it, but I would not be able to do that on a regular basis. So if I were to try to support you in that manner, know that, like, I either feel very confident to help you, but it will probably not be a regular basis thing. And for anyone else trying to do that, like, know your limits. Yeah, imagine. Imagine being cool and strong, yes. I am... What was I gonna say? Because I got thrown off with that last statement. I'll just take a step back. Everyone has strengths. You have strengths. You have areas that you're good in. You're going to have more of a capacity to help people in the areas that you're good in than the areas that you're not good in. And so it is okay to turn down someone asking for help in an area that you are not strong in. So yeah, like, pay attention to where your strengths are. It is okay not to be great in everything. For me, like, there are certain areas that I am working on that I'm trying to become better at. I have been working on exercising more and finding exercises that I enjoy, but it's still not my area of expertise or my strengths. So I'm not going to go and say, hey, let me help you. Every single person needs help moving something. I'm not going to be like, yes, let me help you with moving, because it's just, I don't know, it's just not my forte. But I do have a lot of energy to listen to someone when they're going through a rough time, and I do have the energy to do so without belittling them, to be patient in their suffering, and to make them feel heard and not alone. So I am going to help in that area and support a lot more people in that area than the other average person will, because that is my strength, and I'm going to play to it. So that it's okay. And if you are trying to help someone and figure out how to support them, play to your strengths. If there's a situation, I think if there is someone that is in need of your support in an area that you're not strong in, it is probably good to look and find resources of other people that can help in that area. For instance, if someone's going through a rough time in an area that you have no idea how to help them with, there are therapists and psychologists that are able to listen and help. If you need help moving something, or you have a friend that needs help moving something, maybe help support them financially with getting movers, provide money for the car, pull on some friends that could help with that. If you have a person that is in need of education, but you don't have the time to be able to provide to that, help with schools. Schools can always receive donations, help in that way, help, connect them with local teachers or whatever. There are different ways that you can help them with things. They seem to be. I don't know. They could still be there for all we know. But they haven't said anything, so. So yes, play to your strengths. What are areas you can support them in selflessly without threat of becoming resentful if they do not improve? And so again, also adding to that, like if you're able to help them in an area, that you can help them without really expecting anything in return, that's also something to can kind of factor in, because if you're trying to help someone that cannot really improve in that area, again, play to your strengths in that area. Don't let pity get the best of you. There's always people around you that can help better in certain areas than you might be able to. Because by helping somebody in an area that you can help, but you would become resentful for helping them in, that could also enable you to have a God syndrome, which is a breeding ground for pride. And pride never really helps anyone in the long term. So help to the capacity that you're able to the degree that you want to do. But know that there are other people that can also help. And then lastly, the last question that I have written down here is, are you safe while supporting them? And this is a question that I've had to kind of realize with time, because not everyone is safe to help. There are people out there that know your strengths and will use you for those strengths, and once they've gotten what they want out of you, leave you. Or they may use your strengths as a way to get you into a compromised place. So you have to ask yourself, is this person safe to support in the first place? Are they narcissistic? Are they dangerous people? If by helping them and supporting them, will they get you into a place where you are in danger at some capacity? And that could be tricky, because again, in the situation of helping someone, like helping an oppressed group of people, helping them could mean danger for you, but it might be the right thing to do. But at the same time, helping someone do something that is illegal, that is legitimately amoral, that can be very dangerous. That's a place you wouldn't want to support them. So it's not always cut and clear, but it's important to know, are they safe to help? Helping someone who is manipulative is not safe for you to do, because they will use whatever their manipulative tools are to keep you helping them long past when you should be ever helping them. And by doing that, you are going to enable them to continue to use you, to continue to not grow. So you need to stop supporting me because I'm invading the IRS. Circumstantially, that is entirely possible if you are actually truly a threat to the IRS, or actually doing things you shouldn't be doing. It could be very circumstantial, but as a joke, no, that's not a problem. And if the government isn't completely corrupt, then that could be problematic. But if it is, I don't know what to say specifically to that situation either. So it's circumstantial. These are just questions to kind of get the ball rolling in helping you figure out, am I enabling a person in the negative sense? And if you figured that you're not helping them for the right reasons, you don't need to help them, you don't want to help them, and the only ways you can help them is in areas you're not good in, or areas that, is not fun for you to help them in, and they're not safe. These are all things that'll help you get into the idea of like, ooh, you know what, maybe I am not helping them at all by helping them. I'm actually making situations worse for myself and for them. Let's see here. Okay, cool. I can now fill this up with lava. Threat to the IRS, CIA, FBI, you name it. Wow. I didn't know you were that dangerous. So, do you guys have any thoughts on all this, or questions? Disagreements? What? I'm open to other thoughts in this area, or other questions, or whatever. No! Go away. I don't want you up there, just down here. Going for a world record. I don't really have anything meaningful I can add right now. Okay, that's fair. That is fine. Maybe it could be said that I covered the topic pretty well if you don't have anything meaningful to add. Yay me. There we go. There. Cool. Now I can take care of this. Go there. And here. Have you tried the things with the campfires? Like, to keep mobs away? Because yes, I have done that. Or are you talking about to reduce the lag? No, put them underneath lava to create a smoke effect. Oh! No, I have not done that. Now, granted, all of my lava is directly underneath glass, so it wouldn't be much of a smoke effect. So that's why I have not fully done that yet. But no, I have not done that. But I have accomplished what I want to accomplish, which that is lava pouring off the sides. I will at some point, yeah. If I have more areas of lava that are more exposed to the surface or whatever, that'd be one definite way of which I would do that. I would need to also start creating off to the side here that convergent area. Like some sort of amphitheater or whatever. That'd be fun to have. If people want to join in, they can just like have a place. Or they can wander around other places, but it'd be like a area of everyone coming together. Couldn't find the words. Well, I'll say this. That is the extent of what I had planned for talking about today. I was on point, did not take long. or longer than usual. And I have nothing left in my mind. That's it. So I'll say this. Do you have any other questions or anything that you want me to talk about tonight before I close out? Because I'm empty. Deep lukewarm ocean. Ah, yes. I can't figure out where I want to put that, though. The amphitheater. So I'm going to figure out. I could, but I think it would be nice to have a stream end a little earlier. Well, perfect. Sounds good to me. That's cool. And we can go over the next topic that was brought up. You had brought up the topic about expressing emotions. How to express emotions. There we go. Got all these stuff pulled around everywhere. If you could, for me, take that, what you were thinking with that, and write down that question into the suggestion box so I can kind of look over it and, like, mull over the week, that'd be good. Because, yeah, that might be my next topic, is talking about that. How did you get up here? Get out of here. Just some random illager just right up there. Okay. You too. Get out of here. You little pest. Go. Okay, fair enough. But yeah, I want to talk about that, so that'd be good. You can kind of like... And you don't have to do it tonight. But yeah, have the reminder right when you have some time to think about it, and that way I can look into the question some more. Okay, well, I'll try, but I make no promises, because I've got lots going on through each week, so if I remember to ask, I'll ask. If you want to, you could also put it, like, in your phone as a reminder, and then it can go off and send, like, a notification or something if you have a phone. That's also a way that I sometimes use to remind me of stuff, but... that's up to you. So, all right, cool. Early stream today. Easy stream. Covered things well. Whoops. Go. We'll go into this. On the banana. This thing on a banana. You're typing this thing on a banana? Huh? You're saying that your phone is a banana? Oh, man. Well, anyways, I want to thank you guys for watching. It's been a lot of fun. If you've enjoyed this stream, I want to invite you to join us on our Discord group, because we're going to be having some more community stuff coming up here soon, actually. We've been playing games each night together. Been playing some Ark, been playing some Overwatch. So that's always a good place to get involved with that. Always sharing memes. It's a good time. So if that interests you and you enjoyed the stream, I want to invite you to join us there. We've got stuff going on from time to time, and that's the best way to be connected. Plus, it's the main area where I let everyone know what I'm doing, it, even more so than other places. So, hey. Also, in relation to crowd control, I just heard recently that crowd control is now available also on YouTube. So I might actually be able to start that up even more so. That won't have to just be confined to Twitch. So, we'll see with that one. I might actually get to that again. Next, I'll get you next time, regular person, man. Anyways, so yeah, this is your invitation. There's some exciting news. And next week, we'll be having our next AI battle, where we'll be having people bringing in their ideas, pitting those ideas against each other with... I don't know exactly what the topic is. You'll have to ask Noah on that one. But he'll let you know probably next week on what the theme of the AI battle is. But essentially, we make characters, put it through an AI, and the first one to the first one to get the other person to be hit 3 times is the winner, depending on what the challenge is. But in general, that's how that works. It's always hilarious, and You'll definitely not want to miss that. So submissions will probably begin next week. We'll keep you posted on that one in the announcement channel. It's going to be good. Yep, there's a theme, yes. Always themes, so yes. Look forward to that. But all that said, thank you guys for watching. We broadcast every week on Monday, Friday, and Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we'll be live again this Friday with some more gaming. You don't want to miss it. I'll see you again soon. I love you guys.
I see a potential in my eyes. I see a potential. I never lost sight of the reason why you're alive. You're alive. You're alive. We sing Jesus.